Powder Orange.
Привет, my lovies! Welcome back to another video. Here today we are on Dexander once more, but this time we're looking at Shadowverse Evolved. Set 5 is coming out really soon, so we're going to take a look at the Omen set, as this is actually a very popular set amongst Shadowverse players. They really like the set. I did not play the game like the CCG, so I'm not, I'm not super well known on it. However, I've already looked at the cards. It looks really cool. I'm actually excited for it, but actually slowly, just very little testing here. There was some proxies. I think this is a really cool set, so let's go ahead and look through it. We got Forest Craft first. Forest Craft, in my opinion, I think out of every single craft, Forest Craft changes the least. You can run the combo elephant just exactly how it's been, basically, and you can add in some puppet cards just to kind of help push it. But I'm gonna be honest with you, you can also just keep it exactly the same, like this list right here, and it'll still perform perfectly fine. If you want to add the puppet stuff, you can. They are also good extensions if that's what you want. I think personally the neutrals is what really carries most of the decks that we'll be seeing today, like Fina. Fina lets you get one cost, and also there's this new angel that basically just, I believe, deals damage. It's also a ward card. These guys are pretty nuts, so I value the neutrals this set more into some degree. Then you can run the elephant puppet package. Like I said, here's the puppets. A little puppet touch you can do, but like I said, it's up to you. It's up to your playstyle, what you prefer, but I don't think you need it necessarily, especially since it kind of bricks your one cost engine. I think this deck should stay with the one cost, and I haven't had too many two costs kind of bricks it, but cards like Fina, they actually directly search for one cost, so you don't have to like really, feel like you're bricking. Also, that card nukes random cards that are really big, especially like sword cards. So Fina has two skills, so you can either nuke a one drop, or you can search for a one drop. I think either one or both are just really good effects, especially if you're going to mirrors. You can nuke their one drop while also getting something on your side, just stuff like that. So that's basically the forest. We have a sword. We have the new usurpation. This is basically the mill sword engine. This is the card that like everyone really should be looking out for. This card gets extremely big, very strong. You definitely want to remove this card pretty quickly, and that's a lot of reasons why you'll be seeing a lot of angelic snipes in lists, as people really want this card gone. Even this card is just really good to nuke. There's a lot of, Sword has access to a lot of good one drops that they like to drop pretty early on. I think it might be this. It's either this card or this card. That one of these two is really good. But you want to kill those cards pretty early on. So angelic snipe's really good. Fina is a really good card. But yeah, there's a couple cards you want to kind of use to get through. So that early aggro that you don't want to take, so that's that. But this is basically the sword mill deck. Basically, you mill your opponent's deck to get effects on your side. And some of these cards get really big. To be honest, it's kind of similar to Heroic, where you're just gonna have like a huge pop off like over and over again. So just be very weary. It's a different flavor of Heroic in my opinion, but definitely a different setup for it. So be wary of that. I will say this mill deck into Abyss is really funny, as it ramps up their Abyss, their Necrocharge really fast. It's a really interesting match to see usually. So usually you have to play for the Floral Fencer in that matchup, and you kind of just don't drop the mill cards like super early. Here's a combination of Heroic and the mill packages before running, just for the extension. And then we have just pure Heroic here, and then someone will trying out Commander. I know what Commander does. I'm a little less familiar with it with the new stuff. I think they got like one new Commander they can play, and I believe it's right here in front of us. Let's go to Rune. Rune has the new Destruction variants with the new girl that basically gets the two destructions, and they both burn. You burn your opponent and heal you every single turn. They're amulets. Very annoying cards. If you're trying to, you should definitely be going for like amulet removers this time around. If you're not playing a deck like this, this deck will just slow burn you down. It's really rough. It's the angelic snipes are here. We also have the new Grismill neutral, which is right here, or Jeremiel, I think her name is. This card is disgusting. Again, another really strong neutral, as she brings out this card right here, and I believe she brings out the order as well. So, or the the spell. So yeah, really disgusting card. And Rune really likes to just deck in and search for cards with both Merlin and the Uma cards. So you're basically just constantly finding the spells you need, and then you just go wild with this card. This card also has Drain, which means if it gets a chance to attack, it gets to heal too. So this deck can heal a bunch, kind of sit there and just go wild. It also has the destruction of the Light and Dark spell too. That's really good. But yeah, this deck can be really spooky, so definitely keep on the lookout for it. I think it's actually really good. I think it's kind of a sleeper pick, almost. I don't know about the word. People are really scared of Egg, I guess, but also to Mirror, I guess you can nuke their Greek Zone, and people play a lot of like the neutral package, which most people are playing. There's also Dimension Shift, but and then there's Spell Boost. Either way, I think they're about the same, with maybe a couple touches here and there. Here's Dragoncraft. You can play, if you really don't want to play anything new, you could just play the exact same deck basically and just play the overflow list. They're running the Grimnir. I love this card. I think this card's insane. This card is so good if it doesn't get wiped. If it doesn't get wiped, you usually have game. If people don't if you don't remove this, it's just such a free. It's basically like a worser egg, but with better stats, and it stays on the board, doesn't do your hand, right? It's just different egg. It is really good. I love this card. I love this card so much. Such a good card. But you can play Overflow. You can also go for the discard variant. If you're interested to go back discard. You can also go Disdain. Disdain is the new Omen basic. But Disdain's pretty popular. Basically deal damage to your dudes to make them stronger. And then here's discard Disdain, which is basically a combination of the discard package and the Omen. I'm not sure if it's better. You also see some PDK here. Just right here, PDK. God, I still hate this. I hate that card. But yeah, you can also go down that route. I'm not a big dragon player, so I'm kind of just flying through those a little bit. Now here is Abyss. Now I think I'm gonna be honest with you right now. Personally, what I think the Silence build is probably the best, or some variation of Silence with Control. Is probably the best if you're really aiming to like purely focus on Abyss and like try to win with it. I think you avoid Sanguine completely. It's good, but it's not the level of good that you want to be at. I think the Silence and the Silence discard, Silence Control, whatever flavor you prefer in there is definitely the way to go. They Sanguine did say some cards. I just don't think it's doing enough. Like I think unless your opponent is like super breaking, this will not perform too well. But if you're super deep into it, you can try it out. But if you're gonna burn yourself, you're gonna be in really big trouble, especially when you're facing some of the harder decks like Haven. And yeah, it gets really scary. So just be very cautious of how you're burning yourself. I will say the big carry is the where is she? Are they not playing her? Oh my god, this list isn't playing like the best card. There's like a storm card that's like insane, and this list isn't playing it. What is going on? This card's nuts. I'm surprised people aren't playing it. Also, War Chest, but this card's kind of nuts. Okay. But anyway, some people are just a different list. Abyss has a lot of access to cool stuff. Now, Silence is really strong. They kind of hit a couple of their cards here, so we're actually gonna go to a different list here. Silence is kind of insane. Silence basically touches board, touches hand, and also burns you directly. All in like one deck. It's a lot of aggression. You don't really run a lot of the high drops. You mainly focus on the low drops in this deck, so you don't have to go wild with all the big bodies. You don't really need to, because your deck is just going to do the work for you, so you don't need to worry about that stuff. Now this list is running the Soul Dealer. I'm personally not a fan of the Soul Dealer in this set as much as maybe the previous sets, but basically you're going for the 2-drop spell, the 3-drop, and the other 4-drop. That's where the big beef, the big strength of the deck comes from. You can also run Fina to get out your snipes and any early aggression if you want that, or get the Bell Ringers, because by the way, that is also searchable. Obviously the Demonium is just insane still. This is a little bit new. I can't remember her exact effects, but she's not too bad. I remember reading her. Some people are definitely prioritizing Ord, or people have been running Ord as from what I've been seeing. I personally don't value the Ord. Also, we have the Alice's, and we have the 7-drop that heals on strike all the time, and then also buffs itself over and over again. Here's a random control build. This is actually what I got my control idea from originally when I was building like a more controlled discard list versus just a regular Abyss with the Lelouch package. This is could just control the deck. Everything in this deck just has control, and they even have the Bahamut to explode the amulets. Pretty funny, to be honest with you. But yeah, this is very heavy control. All of this is just the Cowie, the healing, the angelic snipe, the Solcon, the surefires, the discard package here. Got some more of that. Bring back all your dudes, and then just being able to reset with mana. I don't know about this card too much, but we have the Azazel to put people to 10 and just go for lethal. The Demonium to basically not the Death's Breath to just bring back good cards like Cowie or whatever else you want there. Even running Ward in here is pretty funny. Also, you can go Death's Breath into Soul Dealer. And the only downside to this deck, it dives to early rush like crazy. This deck is surprisingly good, but it's better in a slower meta. And I don't know when the next time we're gonna have a slower meta, but right now, and especially on the English side, the people play they play for the fast game. They do not play for the slow game. We got Havencraft. I think Haven's actually kind of cracked the set. We have Pure Aegis. Pure Aegis is just, you just play Aegis basically, and you play the amulets, and you set up with the 6-drop to go for that play. It's not bad, but I think if you're gonna go down the Aegis route, you might as well play with the Omen in mind, which is the repost right here. The repost basically just gets your play points back, and also it just has a better lead up to the Aegis build. It just kind of sets it up a little bit better. And you can also run all the control cards in the world and still go crazy with it. This deck is a kind of a slow deck, but it's very insane. It doesn't let your opponent play the game, and then eventually you play the game and win off of it, and that's just how the deck performs. Which let me find a list that's a little bit easier to see. So here's a list easy to see. You'll notice we do have the Jug Snipes now. Again, the neutrals are very popular in these lists, and then we have the repos here, and then leading into the Aegis as the end game. You'll notice the triple control here. We have the board control, We got the nuking, banishing something purely on the board, and then we also have the decree to just completely destroy everything on the field. It is very disgusting combination, and we have the angelic snipes, a little bit of touch for the Aegis here, and then the surefires to kind of add on to it. So yeah, they're even running Ord here, I guess, just to deal with the EX zone. A lot of people are really scared of this neutral since she calls cards to the EX zone do, but yeah, this deck does some crazy stuff. It lasts a very long time. Like I said, if it makes it the late game, it pops off like crazy. Egg is actually, in my opinion, like insane in this set. I will say, I think it's definitely stronger in this set than it was in the last set. I think people were kind of really putting it up there. It was a good deck, but I don't think it was the best deck in the format. Realistically speaking, I think set 4 didn't really have a best deck. It just had a lot of good options. And I think if you go off of results alone, I think Forest was technically like the best deck. That's the one that everyone had in their teams, but everyone was playing Forest. But it's really hard to say. I think a lot of decks like had a lot of good sides and bad sides. It was like a lot of tier 1 and a lot of tier 2, and not really so much like one particular deck in tier 1. I think that's where people were really not sure. Also, people really put Dragon pretty low, and I think Dragon was a lot better than tier 3. Like, I don't really know if there was a tier 3 unless you exclude like super side decks, like this card Abyss Control. I would consider like a tier 3 deck just because of how impressive like the meta was. Anyways, so I kind of went off topic here. Long story short, I haven't fully spent a lot of time on this variation yet, but I'm very aware of how strong Egg is already. And then I do believe the Fina package with the new tome makes it so much better. This tome is wild. It deals your opponent damage when it dies. It also has Bane on it, and it's just such a, and you discard for the evolve, which I know this sounds bad, but bro, these tins are going out. They're going bye-bye, and then gonna come back out, throw their effects. I'm gonna go wild, because sometimes your hand just gets cluttered with cards you don't need, and this discard just helps you not only be able to just have a random, you could just evolve for free basically, but you could do it on turn 2. By the way, is because now going first or second doesn't matter as heavily because you can just evolve regardless, which is very impactful. So you can just kind of go in, and if you go in and then they kill this, they're dealing themselves damage basically. So it's very this card's nuts. Like, I think this card's insane. Fina gives us access now to the Andromeda, which is huge because the biggest downside to Egg was the fact that you do all this searching and then you just bomb deck all your Andromedas. But guess what? Now you have access to find them. Also, finding Bell Ringers early is really good. This list does not run Bell Ringers, which, by the way, you'll notice a lot of these lists don't run wards anymore. I don't know if it's necessary or not, but I've seen I think every Haven list, but like maybe 2, just don't run wards. Period. Just 0 wards. And I get why, because they had to shove in this angelic snipe. They had to shove in basically other cards to kind of deal with it. But I still don't know if going completely wardless is the way. But I guess we'll have to see. But anyways, this search for Andromeda, search for Angelic Snipe, it gets the Freya out. We have the banished guy here. Don't know if he's necessary, but he's not bad either. I think that the 3-drops contest Alice too much sometimes. I like to just not run any 3-drops outside of the tin and the egg. That's my personal opinion. On turn 3, you should be playing Alice, like meaning like Alice into an evolve basically. Or if you're not on that turn, then you're either searching or you're searching or you're searching or you're popping or you're calling. You know what I mean? You're not really playing like this guy here because you still need to evolve him. And then on the turn you want to evolve, the turn you can evolve, you will be playing Alice. Like you should be playing Alice. So it's kind of a little weird. But here's a couple lists. I know I kind of went on a whole spiel there. A couple more lists. I'm running a little bit of that Storm Ward aggro approach, but for the most part it's just egg. I'm not 100% sure which build is like the best build, the build I kind of want to focus on. So I'm running the goblins since again the Fina finds them, though this list doesn't run Fina, which is also very interesting. The goblins are there, but they're not they're not searchable, so very interesting. I don't agree with double Odette, by the way. I think Odette should just be back, so just stay at 1. She's a really good clutch card for the tea time. Now Uma did get unrestricted on our side, so we actually might be seeing some Uma players come out. I don't know Uma too well in terms of the pure one. I know what the separate cards do, just not all together. So I know some of the stuff, so I'm not gonna go deep into this, what I'm getting at, but you know, you can play Uma now since we did get the unrestriction with the 1-drop. So now you can, you know, just play Uma normally with this and just have fun. I will say Uma I don't think is as powerful this set, which is probably why they did the unrestriction. So, but you can play it. You'll still get somewhere. The deck is still good. It's just, you know, you just have to hope you don't see like the really bad matchups that just completely board wipe you. Haven is one of those matchups that will just completely clear their board and they just won't be able to recover from it. But they can aggro so quickly that maybe it'll be a surpass. So yeah, so here's a couple lists of, you know, whatever. This was Daiwa pure, this is Uma pure, so you know, I have a couple options here to look through. Personal opinion, I don't like making tier lists of Shadowverse because there's just too many different variants. But personal opinion, I think out of everything, I truly think that the Haven and Abyss are gonna be the strongest crafts. this set, but some might disagree and say, oh no, it's dragon, or oh no, it's sword, but you know, or elephant, you know. But I truly, the reason being is because I think there's a lot of good stuff in each craft. But purely, I think in terms of like just how decks play, I do think that egg and abyss silence are just gonna be just really oppressive decks for people to deal with. I think they just play really strong.
Nice.
Right now. I just think they have the upper hand. I will say late game, I think Repost is like insane. I think if you get to the late game, Repost is good, and Overflow Dragon's probably still really good. But and then obviously I think Uma's somewhere in between all that. That's it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope it was informative. If it was, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, do all that fun stuff. It does help push the channel. Thank you guys for watching your goodies. He does sell Shadowverse Evolve as well, so you can check out the goodies there. He recently restocked on some sleeves as well, so you can check out those using my code @50cars.shop. Check all it out. And then, guys, peace out. That's for Dino. See you guys in a future video. Bye.